Hey everyone, OTC Piper finally coming back to you. It's been a while and things got really busy for me for a period of time, and that story is actually an interesting story, and it's going to be coming up in the future, hopefully very soon. I know last time before all that kind of hit, I was talking about doing a more in-depth video of the calabash pipe, and I have mine today. I'm not going to get as in-depth as I wanted to. I was experimenting with some different production techniques, and when things got so busy I couldn't really spend as much time doing that, and so I'm just going to keep things, business as usual there for a while. That way I can get some more content cranked out, and but I am going to talk a little bit about it. I was really wanting to go a little bit more deep into the topic, and I guess with everything going on, and I kind of reserve the right to change my mind about some things, and so I am still going to talk a little bit about it because it plays into some other things I'm going to talk about just for a little while. I'm out here in the park. I got a little campfire going behind me, and we're going to talk about some things I'm going to be doing out here. But first, let's get into the calabash. I have mine loaded up with some Galwith and Hogarth number 20 Latakia mixture, and that's what I'm going to be enjoying today in this great fall weather that we're having. And I'm going to get it lit up real quick. Give me 1 second. So the calabash kind of plays into what I'm talking about. It was just a very brief and very general description. It was started by the more ancient people of Africa, and during the Boer Wars, they were found to be smoking these pipes made out of the gourd, and it gets its name from the type of gourd, the calabash gourd. They don't always grow in this shape, and a lot of times they would, as they're growing, they would kind of mold them into the shape that they want them to be. And it's very unclear exactly how far back they go, or when they actually made their advent on mankind. Give me 1 second, we'll let this jet pass by. Okay, we're clear now. But I was saying before, it's very unclear exactly, when it came about, or when its use first began. That's more of an archaeological question more than a historical question. But reason I wanted to go ahead and do this, I'm going to show off some other things that may not necessarily be pipe related, but might be interesting just all the same. I've always been an outdoorsman, hunter, fisherman, camping, hiking, that kind of thing. And when I started hunting as a kid, I used a rifle, and then as I started to grow up, that became a little less satisfying. I guess there became less challenge to it. So I started bow hunting with a compound bow. And with the technology that's come about with compound bows, that kind of fell into the same category. So I started traditional hunting and everything. And I've always been big on self-reliance, things like that. And as a kid, I developed a deep interest in Native American history, because my dad used to take me out arrowhead hunting, and I have I don't know how many now, but that's something that I kind of kept doing as I grew older. And I started studying, primitive techniques and everything. So kind of my bucket lister, when I'm actually hoping I can get started on here very soon, is an actual primitive hunt. So I have this whitetail hide that I'm going to be building a quiver out of. And I came out here because I got the table I can spread it out on, and things like that. and I got trying to develop some primitive skills, and until I can have time to build up on supplies, the natural resources that are available, I'm using some things, like I've got some rawhide cordage here that I just purchased until I can start developing my own rawhide and everything like that. So I'm trying to go as primitive as I can. There's some things that I'm just for time's sake right now, I'm just purchasing or using a little bit more modern tools. But that's not going to be the case on much of it. Many years ago, I learned to start flint knapping, and I'm going to get some things here, and I'm going to actually I have some. One of the reasons for the fire is yesterday I took a trip down to the Brazos River, and I was collecting flint rocks, just like this one here. And some of them I'm going to heat treat. If they were lower grade, lower silica, I'm going to heat treat them so that they flake a little bit better. And some of them, like this one, I'm not going to heat treat this one. This one, I'm hoping to get some punches that I can use for this. I have several of them, several tools and everything. These are just some of the things that I've knapped out. And these are more like the arrow points and everything. But like this one here, that I'm hoping to get put on a shaft. And I do have some things. I've got some river cane here. I'm going to use the heat from the fire while it's heat treating my rock to straighten out and kind of treat this one a little bit. My little fire pit thing shifted a little bit. That's a pretty hard shaft right there. I've got some others like this one here that I'm going to work down and straighten them. And I also got some hardwood staves here, or arrow shafts here, that I'm going to be working on. These take a little bit more drying time, so I'm going to be doing that. I also have some traditional, this isn't primitive but traditional. I'll order some cedar shafts, and hopefully I'm going to finish those up and get the tips put on and fletch them. And I'm choosing the what they call the Cherokee 2 fletch. And I've got some for some of my more primitive ones. I have some like duck feathers I was able to harvest from some of the parks, but I got some just regular white feathers that I'm going to split out and do two fletchings versus like the traditional 3 fletching, just for ease in tuning the arrow shaft with the broadhead and knocking point, things like that. So I'm not going to go into too much. This isn't really a how-to video. I knew I needed to get out here and do one, and it would be a good opportunity for me to get a little fire going so I can use the resources, some of the the arrow shafts and things like that, and get those ready to go, and work on some of my traditional shafts as well. I'll probably be doing a mixture of traditional and primitive archery. But this one should flake pretty easy. I'm going to try to take a little flake off of it. So I knocked that one off, and it's kind of in the shape to do a little hand drill for when I'm notching out my hide here to run my my rawhide through to cinch it. And that was actually a pretty good flake, but it is a little bit lower silica, but I want that because it's going to be a little bit harder. It's the heat treated stone is going to flake a lot better. It's going to probably get a little bit sharper of an edge for my projectiles and everything. I'll do that so I could get them a little bit thinner. But for like an impact tool, like a hatchet, now I've got one of these I've been working on, a little stone head that I'm going to be putting on a handle, just for like a small little hatchet. I'm looking forward to getting that completed. But for things like that, and this is very low silica, if you can kind of see, it's more granite-y than most of my flints. It's very low grade, but it's going to be good for what I need to do for chopping and things like that. For like this one where I'm going to be punching into leather and rawhide, it's going to be a little bit more durable. So I'm going to continue to work this one down and get me the tool set up. And these get razor sharp here, and I've got as I've been napping for many years now, I started to save a lot of my flakes and everything, because they make great little scalpels. So when I'm cutting out the shape of this quiver and the rawhide, I'm probably going to use some of these that I've saved. Give me another second for that jet. And we're back. So nothing like jets flying overhead when I'm trying to talk about some of my primitive interests, but we do with it as we can. But like this flake here, that came off of one, that's got just a razor sharp edge, and where I can kind of cut away at the hide and get the shape that I want. And so yeah, I'm gonna be using some of these, and I've got my box. I got a big box over here with some of these containers that I've been using to store some of these, just to save them for, you know, future use when I'm getting my shafts done. I go through the woods a lot just to look for the perfect, you know, shaft material where it doesn't have a whole lot of knots in it and shoots coming off of it, and I'll get them done as I can. But I thought there's no more I mean, there's more of a challenge than to use natural resources, to harvest natural resources. So that's kind of what's prompted me to gear up for kind of a primitive hunt. And I'm probably going to not make deer season. I might get at the tail end of it. I know that we have an extended season for doe or antlerless and spikes, and I might try to get some of that, but my next goal is going to be like spring turkey or something like that, or small game. I mean, small game's just as, you know, just as good and just as useful. So I'm gonna do that and get some things going. I might jump back on here in just a second and go over a few more things. So give me one sec. Okay, so I got my punch ready to go that I very crudely napped out. It's got a pretty good sharp point and sharp edge. I don't think it's going to do me nice on this this hide. And of course, that first flake that I pulled off the rock that I just showed you actually didn't make it to this stage. I lost a little tip off of it, and that happens a lot when you're dealing with this kind of thing. You just kind of pick another piece and move on. And so it's kind of what it's all about, just getting out here and doing some trial and error, but putting this stuff to use out here. I finally had to just turn the news off and come outside, you know, so it's a good day to get out and do that. So, and I figure, well, talking about an ancient pipe design, why not talk about some of the ancient tactics that I've picked up along the way. So I'll get back on and show some more to you. So I'm about to cut you loose. Hope this hasn't been too boring, but it's been fun for me to get some of this stuff out again. I'm about to the point I'm about to pack stuff off the table and put the hide out and start cutting on that one to get my arrow quiver done. And before that, I just wanted to show you a few things. This is one. This is could work as a projectile point, but I made it pretty thick for like a knife blade. Another one over here, small one. This one probably wouldn't fly too well because it is kind of favoring one side, but I got it set up to go on a handle as a small little knife blade. Probably need to sharpen it up just a little bit. And this is one that I've used actually quite a bit. This is one of my harder pieces that I've actually cut more of a smooth edge here and more like a saw edge here, and it's actually worked very effectively. So, and one more, this is one that I actually napped this out of obsidian. Kind of got a narrow base, but it's a bit broad. I might use this one come turkey season because it is a little bit broader for that purpose. But just showing off a few of my things, and I'm gonna continue to work on this quiver and maybe nap out some other things. And I will put a picture of this quiver on my Instagram, just if you're interested. And we'll see you next time. You know, keep your bowls warm.